Programs regularly scheduled for this time will not be seen today in order that we might bring you the following NBC News special report. Watergate, Senate hearings.
They had some romantic titles back then, didn't they? That was July 16th, 1973. Very important day in American presidential history. Important because that's the day we learned from the Senate testimony of former Nixon White House aide Alexander Butterfield.
Mr. Butterfield, are you aware of the installation of any listening devices in the Oval Office of the President?
I was aware of listening devices. Yes, sir.
And if I could move on to telephones. Are you aware of the installation of any devices on any of the telephones? First of all, the Oval Office.
Yes, sir.
An unbelievable moment. Fast forward to today, and the president either hinting or bluffing or threatening to have recordings of private conversations in the White House. For more tonight, we are joined by an authority on presidential recordings and then some, the historian and author Michael Beschloss, and among his many works and 9 books on presidents, 2 books on the recorded conversations of President Lyndon Johnson, Taking Charge and Reaching for Glory. And a point of personal privilege, Michael didn't ask me to say this, but if you buy the audio books, you get the Johnson White House tape recordings as curated and narrated by Michael Beschloss. Highly recommended. So, Michael, in many ways, we can credit LBJ with Watergate, if you want to look at it that way. There is a scene when Nixon comes to the White House. He's going to move in, and Johnson is showing him around the place, and they both get down on their knees. What did Johnson want to show Richard Nixon?
There's nothing I can say that's going to match that buildup, Brian, and thanks for the kind word, by the way. What happened was that Johnson was showing Nixon around the private rooms of the upstairs of the White House, and he says, "Come into my bedroom." And so they go in, and Johnson gets down on his knees, and as the story is told, sort of almost crawled under his bed, and Nixon wondered what is going on here. And Johnson apparently pulled out a lot of wires and said, you know, these lead to my taping system. You know, Dick, you really should have a recording system the way that I do. Records my telephone calls, records, you know, even here in my bedroom, records, you know, Oval Office conversations even down on the ranch. And when Nixon went home, he said, you know, that's the last thing I want to do is record all these conversations. The second I'm president, pull all this stuff out. And then about a little bit more than a year in, he began to think, well, maybe Lyndon's idea was a good one, because Nixon was worried that people who worked for him, like Henry Kissinger, might take all sorts of credit for things that Nixon felt that he deserved. So Nixon felt that to record all of his conversations, essentially wall to wall, because it was not a system with a switch as Johnson had, he could use this to protect himself.
Yeah, the early system used a dictaphone recording mechanism. It was pretty primitive. Today, the president says tapes in quotes, meaning recordings, perhaps. Michael, I know LBJ wanted it in part for leverage, to remind people what they had said or promised to him over the phone. He always had the transcript if he needed it. But if this current president is recording private conversations in the White House, other than making himself a huge subpoena target, is there anything wrong with it? Is there anything illegal?
Sure. Well, illegal, that's a question. But in terms of shattering precedents, you know, shattering things that presidents have been doing before, ever since that day that you just showed with Alexander Butterfield in July of 1973, Nixon had to immediately stop taping and pull out the system. And later presidents have all said, I would never do such a thing because A, it reminds people of Nixon who behaved badly, but B, because it violates people's civil liberties to record conversations with a president that are supposed to be private without their knowledge. And the other thing is that presidents have felt that if people even have a suspicion that when they go into the Oval Office or when they talk to a president on the telephone that they're being taped, they're not going to give a president unvarnished advice and that's going to wind up hurting the president.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.